All right, so today we're doing a shadow and schmooze video. This is where we just talk, catch up about whatever. This is actually a very special shadow and schmooze because right now I am filming this in Amman, Jordan. I'm in the Middle East. I've been here for a couple weeks so far, and I'm here for like 3.5 weeks total. And then I go to Italy and Spain. So if you want to follow along, vlogs are coming in all of these places. It's so cool that I can be in another country and do my job all the way across the world. So thank you guys for watching, as always. But today, I'm just putting makeup on and answering a lot of your questions that you had about Jordan and about the Middle East and what I'm doing here. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do while you're watching, you can give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Everything I talk about today is listed down below in the description box. Here we go. I'm about to go eat some shawarma. Okay, I feel very excited to be filming right now. I'm on a busy street. There might be some car sounds. Here was my dilemma this morning. My hair is extremely oily. So the hair's up, then I realized I have cupping bruises, so just ignore that. I'm gonna put concealer or something over it. But I have on the Glossier Invisible Shield Daily Sunscreen. Now I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Hydra Booster Step 1 Primer. This is very hydrating and it has like a nice glowy finish to it. Oh, I feel like I have a lot of energy right now. I think I put way too much Nescafe in my coffee. We have so much to talk about. I'm gonna actually like go in a different order that I normally do my makeup. I'm just feeling like doing my brows first. So I'm gonna go in with the Air Brow. This is Kosas Air Brow. So I am back in Amman, Jordan. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen a lot of things from here. Because when you're seeing this, I am still in Amman, but I'm about to leave. So I've been here for a few weeks at this point when you're seeing this. But based on my messages on Instagram right now, a lot of you have been very interested in what it's like to be in Jordan. Right now I'm actually in an Airbnb in Amman, but for the last 2 weeks I've been staying at my family's house that I lived with here when I studied in Jordan. I mostly just got an Airbnb so that I can film. I'm gonna be like heading back over there at night, and I'll probably actually still sleep there on the weekend and stuff. But 10 years ago when I was in college, I studied abroad in Jordan. I lived here for a year, and when I studied here I chose the host family option. Basically I hit the Jordanian family jackpot. Okay, I just really like hit it off with my family. I love them, and I just got so lucky with the family I was placed with. At the time, I want to say there were like 10 people around there living in a 2-bedroom house. So my host mom is Syrian, and 10 years ago was like very much the height of the Syrian war. So we had some of her family living with us. They were all staying in the living room. I'm just gonna call them my family because it's weird to say like my host family, and I also consider them my family at this point. But my family consists of 4 brothers, sister, and mom. So when I was living here 10 years ago, Sarah, who I shared a room with, my host sister at the time, she was like 12, 13 years old. So it's so different now that she's 23 and like we can go out and do stuff together. Spending time with them, it's weird because it feels like literally no time has passed, but Amman itself has changed a decent amount. Like there's certain shopping areas and malls and stuff that are just like you would think they were in Seattle or San Francisco. Here's the thing, it feels like so easy being here. I forget that I just know everything here. I know how to get around. I could easily live here again. By the way, I'm using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I have so much to say, I like literally don't even know where to start. It's been amazing, incredible staying with my host family again, like being back in the house and just being around people all the time. That's one of my favorite things about Arab culture, is just like you're always around people, you're always just talking. Like you're not doing anything crazy, you're just sitting around drinking coffee, drinking tea, just like a slower pace of life, and it's very relaxed, and family is the most important thing. And I just really appreciate that, and I think like a lot of the things that now I want to do with my own family have come from spending time here. I'm gonna use my Haley's Beauty Concealer to carve out my eyebrows. I never do this, but I'm just feeling like changing it up today. I narrowed down my makeup so much that now I'm like, wait, do I actually have the thing I need to do this? I've been doing Sarah's makeup, so I think some of my makeup is still at their house actually. Found it, all is well. So I'm gonna answer like the most common questions that I've been getting on Instagram about living in Jordan, what it's like here, traveling here, like all that kind of stuff. So the Middle East really depends on the country that you're going to. So I'm just speaking from Jordan, and obviously I'm not Jordanian, so I'm gonna do my best to explain what I've noticed here after living here and living with Jordanians, but I'm not Arab, I'm not Jordanian. I don't wanna like misrepresent an entire culture. So I actually feel like a lot of pressure talking about this topic, so just know I'm gonna do my best. So one of the most asked things was just about safety, and if it's safe here, if it's safe to travel here, as a woman, a lot of the Middle East, a lot of countries in the Middle East are very misrepresented by the media. And also, not every country here is the same. So something that might not be okay in Saudi Arabia is nothing like how it is in Jordan. I will say, I have always felt safer in Jordan than I ever have in the US. And that's for a few different reasons. Family ties here and your family name, your last name, are extremely strong. It's like the most important thing is your family's reputation, your last name, how you act as an individual represents your family as a whole. There's different types of societies and cultures. Arabs are collectivists, so what you do as a person reflects heavily on your entire family's image and what other people think of you. So because of that, it's actually interesting. The court here and laws have like very little impact on people's actions. If you do something, if you steal, if you do something horrible, whatever, you can destroy your whole family's name. And families here aren't like in the US or maybe some other countries where, you know, you consider your family like your immediate parents and whatever. No, your family here can be hundreds of people. There's also a thing called wasta here. It's a concept that we don't have in the US. I'm just gonna read this to you. Wasta is loosely translated into a middleman, the practice among those with power, influence, favoriting relatives, friends, etc., especially by giving them jobs. Basically like by saying your last name. So you can get out of paying a traffic ticket, say like the policeman, you mention your last name and you have like family connections with them, or you have a really powerful family name, then you get favoritism for getting certain jobs, or it just gives you access to things which can be really powerful and really like damaging for people who maybe don't have like the best family name. 80% of Jordanians said that they were anti-wasta and considered it a serious problem. And only 24% of respondents said they would resort to court when faced with a problem because of wasta. So that's how powerful it is. So I'm saying that because that does affect the safety here. Like it's pretty safe because of that. Obviously things happen, like there's situations, but I can walk around at night here. I think this is like probably the only place I would walk around at night. Also, the nighttime is like when Jordanians like come alive. Everyone stays inside pretty much during the day, and then as soon as it gets dark, that's when all the cafes get packed. It's like a totally different city at night. Everything stays open super late. So it's funny because people have this like idea about the Middle East, but like I said, I feel safer here than actually anywhere I've ever been or traveled. If you're a woman and a solo traveler, I actually think Jordan's probably one of the best countries that you can go to. People are very helpful, super friendly, very safe, and I think that, you know, shocks a lot of people because they just have this image of like what the Middle East is like. Okay, wow, I just put so much more effort into my brows than I normally ever do. So for foundation today, I'm going to go in with one of my all-time favorites, the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. I featured this in my top current 5 favorite foundations video that I did, and I'm very excited that I get to work with Makeup Forever on this video. This is like the most ideal scenario for me when it's a product that I already am using in my day-to-day, already love, talk about it all the time. I get to work with them. So thank you, Makeup Forever, for continuing to support my channel and sponsoring a portion of today's video. One of my favorite things about this foundation is that I have now tested it in, I'm pretty sure, every possible climate. I've been, you know, traveling all over the place. I've been in humidity and dryness and extreme heat and cold, on long airplane rides. This is like my go-to plane foundation now because it's just one of those products that it holds up. If you have an event, if you live in heat, if you, I don't know, are doing pretty much anything, this foundation just lasts so well on me. I've worn it for 14-hour travel days, and I can tell you, it is Middle East desert heat approved as well. It's been in the 90s here. I've also put this on Sarah now multiple times, and it holds up amazing on her skin as well. I'm gonna actually give her one of them because I have a few shades. It's medium to full coverage, has a natural finish, but I find it's one that I can really adjust and alter the finish of, and those are my favorite kind of foundations because if I want like a really dewy skin look, I can get that, but if I want to go more natural, more matte, satin, I can also achieve that with this foundation. The 2 shades I'm going to be using today are one N06. This has more of a neutral undertone. Then I actually picked up this other shade in Jordan at their store here, which was exciting to go in. But this is one N00. So this is the lightest shade, and I just want to lighten this shade up a little bit. I would say my closest shade match is one Y04. My favorite way to apply this with a sponge. This is my favorite little guy from Amazon. I'll leave the sponge and everything else I'm talking about in this video linked down below. It's just the best, and with this foundation, such a good combo. So I'm gonna mix these 2 shades on my hand. This is also vegan, non-comedogenic, waterproof, sweat proof. So here's my skin without. By the way, I had to ditch my my makeup mirror for traveling here. It's too heavy. I'm working out of one small bag now, like a very small suitcase for the next 2 months. So, you know, priorities. I love how this one just melts in with my skin. If you have textured skin, I think this is a great option. Doesn't crease on me. It just looks nice and just like softening on my skin. It's not super obvious that I have on, you know, like a more medium to full coverage foundation. And I can get really good coverage with this. I think those two mixed are perfect. I'm gonna actually use the foundation to cover that up on my neck. I can't see what I'm doing. Is that my neck? Maybe. Yes. Great. Here we go. Thank you, Makeup Forever. I have 4 different shade families and 3 different undertones, so hopefully you can find a shade that matches you. 40 shades, like I said. Try not to coat my baby hairs in foundation. This is why I never do my brows first, because then you have to be like super careful going around your face on your forehead. I was gonna go wash off my hand, but both of my feet are asleep right now, so paper towel it is. I have so many shades of this with me now. This is my tanner shade, by the way, 2R24, but you can find the Makeup Forever foundation on Sephora, online, and in stores, so I'll have the link down below if you want to check it out. I'm just happy. I love when I recommend a product and there's so many of you I hear back from that you love it as well. Like I always say, foundations work differently for different people, but if you typically like my foundation recommendations, then you might also like this one. Okay, foundation check-in. This is as good as we're getting with the lighting right now because it's now 11:30 p.m. So foundation's been on for over 12 hours now, closer to like 13 hours. I'm trying to like put my head up to the light so you can see, but this is a Middle East heat being out. And I also had my hand right here for a while, just like a few minutes ago. So here's what we're looking like. This is like one of those 2 foundations where I feel like I could keep wearing it, you know, like I'm not ready to like wash off my face. I don't need to. I'm gonna use the same Haley's concealer for underneath my eyes now. This is one of the, actually it's the only concealer I have right now that is light enough without tanner on. So one of the other most asked questions was about the dress here, if you have to wear a hijab, if you have to cover your hair, what to know if you're coming here, traveling here, or just people who are curious about it. So you don't have to wear a hijab. A lot of Jordanian women don't wear a hijab. It totally depends on the person, their family, what they personally want to do. I asked Sarah last night what age she started wearing a hijab because she did wear one last time I was here. And she said she started at age 12, but that was just because she was like really excited to wear a hijab, which is cute. So most people, she said, start around like age 16 here if they want to or, you know, are going to. But no, you don't have to cover your hair at all. I could wear this out. Basically, you just want to be respectful of their culture and dress modestly, but times are really changing. Like since the last time I was here, the dress here has changed a lot. Like I've seen a few people in crop tops, like Jordanians, in tank tops. I never saw tank tops 10 years ago. So personally, I just dress respectfully. So I just always wear pants and I always have my chest covered and my shoulders. But you could wear whatever you want. You'll get more attention if you're like wearing a tank top or, you know, a skirt or whatever. Personally, I just like to be respectful, and honestly, it's not that different like how I'm dressing here than how I would in like Seattle. But depending on where you are in the Middle East, there's different dress norms, there's different types of wear. So if you're visiting here, it does get cold in the winter, by the way. Last year it snowed and it gets like, it's basically like Seattle weather in the winter. But if you're coming in the summer, I would just say wear like long skirts, jeans if you want to, leggings, whatever. And then just, you know, something that's like a little bit more modest on top, but you don't have to like go crazy and wear like sweaters and like, you know, turtlenecks. Like one question on Instagram was like, will I get weird looks if my hair's out? No, not at all. Like literally not at all. Times are changing. Social media is a thing now. I think everywhere people are getting exposed so much more to other cultures, other people, other styles, like just everything. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. powder for under my eyes. This shade is a little bit too dark. This is normally like what I use under my eyes if I have tanner on. I got some questions about driving here. Should you rent a car here? How are taxis? So driving here is pretty chaotic. You couldn't pay me to drive here. So as far as renting a car, don't do it. I wouldn't suggest it. Taxis are very cheap relative to the US, extremely cheap. Like to be in a half-hour taxi ride, it'll cost the equivalent of like $3 to $4.50 around there. And that's on like the higher end, just depends how long you're sitting there, if there's traffic, whatever. It's 1 to 2 JD to get like pretty much anywhere in Amman. Don't rent a car here. There's no rules, okay? Everything goes on the streets in Amman. There are no rules. By the way, this foundation starts to kind of set down, so I don't feel like I need to powder my cheeks with this one. I don't actually need to powder my face at all with this one. Like the rest of my face when I wear it lasts amazing on its own, so I can go in with a powder bronzer without worrying about it like sticking. This one isn't my favorite. It's just like what I have right now. It's the Natasha Bronze and Glow. This one actually can get a little bit sticky. Driving here, friggin' insane. Everyone honks at everything, but it's not a mean kind of honk. It's a honk to let you know they're there. So if if you hear a bunch of honking, it's not like people having road rage. It's them being like, hey, I'm right here, you go, you know, whatever. It's more of like a nice honk. Blinkers aren't a thing. Lanes are not a thing. There's circles everywhere in Amman, and there's no rules to it. You just have to like go, and they mesh each other. If you're walking across the street here, if you try to wait, you will never make it across the street. You have to just start walking, and cars will like stop for you. Just make sure they see you, obviously. Yeah, you just gotta go. Traffic rules really are pretty non-existent here. If you're going outside of Amman, it's still relatively cheap to get around, to book a taxi. I will say the one thing with taxis here is that you kind of have to speak a little bit of Arabic, but now you can download the Google Maps map offline. You don't have to be on Wi-Fi, and then just give them the phone so that they can kind of navigate and like look at the area. No matter where you are, I feel like downloading the map offline is like a good travel tip, because then if you're in a situation, at least you always have that. But if you're ever not sure where you're going and you don't speak Arabic, just ask someone. Maybe the taxi driver doesn't speak English, but a lot of people in Jordan speak English. It's like the main language studied here. So there's definitely someone that can help you out, and Jordanians like want to help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need like help getting around or directions or something. There were questions about how much Arabic I remember, if I can still speak a lot, and what the Arabic situation is like. So in college, I studied Arabic for 4 years. And I lived here with a Jordanian family for a year. When I left Jordan, I could understand, I would say about 90%, 95%, not just like them talking to me slower and whatever. If I was just sitting in a room and my host mom here was talking to a bunch of her friends and they were like going back and forth for a long time really quickly, like I could understand most of what they were saying. My speaking was never great. I don't have a great accent, but I could definitely like hold a conversation in a taxi or wherever. I could hold a conversation. So my Arabic was never great with speaking, but I could understand almost everything. Now, 10 years later, after not using my Arabic for 10 years, I would say right now I can understand maybe 15%, 20% is being generous. And my speaking is like a 2%, 1%, okay? I can like get by in a taxi. It's so bad. It's so crazy that your brain can just like totally forget a language. And they always say like with languages, if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's so true. So if you're studying a language right now and you're thinking like, I'm never gonna forget this, that's what I thought. Literally, I remember my Arabic teacher at the end telling me that, and I was like, what do you mean? I'm gonna remember this? No. If you don't use it, you are fully going to forget it. And yes, it's coming back. And I do think if I was living here again, it would probably come back. I can still read and write in Arabic, so I totally remember how to do that. You know, my vocabulary, I just forget a lot. I'm using the Huda Beauty, I've said this so many times. Huda Beauty Berry Juicy Blush. This is one of my favorites. Love this powder blush. Well, I just put a lot on my nose. Like where I was day one when I got here versus where I am week 3, things have started coming back. Absolutely love this thing, the Dior Backstage Glow Face Highlighter. The pink shade, so pretty for the summer. I usually like mix these two, but I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna mix these two, but do a lot of the pink today because I want that pinky look. I have notes here to remind me of the topics and questions to talk about, so I'm just looking at that. Ooh, okay, so other parts of Jordan. If you're coming to Jordan, you definitely have to see outside of Amman. Petra is here. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. And it's so funny because a lot of Jordanians have never wanted to go to Petra or gone. Like my whole family has never been, and it's not a money thing. It's like pretty much free for Jordanian residents. I don't know, they just haven't gone. I'm like, dude, you guys have one of the wonders of the world here. Go see it. And they go, why? It's just rocks. There are a lot of cool things in Jordan to see. Definitely go to Wadi Rum, go to the north, Jerish. Northern Jordan by like the Syrian border is actually super green. There's like a huge lake. There's camping. It's super pretty. And then you have Aqaba, the Dead Sea. There's so many things to do and see here. So don't take like my Amman vlog that you're seeing as like that's all there is in Jordan. My main priority with this trip is to see my family and spend time with them, not see Jordan. I've already seen Jordan because I was here for a year. I did all those things. I've seen a lot. There's still a couple things on my list that I would go back to or want to see again, but not this trip. This trip, I really just wanted to spend time with my family here. So I think next time I come here, I will go back and do some of those things and stay longer, but I don't know, 3 weeks, it does feel too short. I wish I booked a little bit longer, but you know. This highlighter is so good if you have textured skin. It gives you like the really pretty intense glow without being able to like see it sticking on your skin. I'm gonna use the Anastasia eye primer. This is I think now my favorite eye primer with the Sephora 71 concealer brush. I love this for eye primer. One word of advice. A few people told me like they were already planning on going to Israel or Palestinian territories, and now they want to also come to Jordan after like seeing my stories and things, which makes me really happy, by the way. I'm so glad that some of you are considering Jordan as like a travel destination now, because it's just important to see this side of Arab culture and this side of the Middle East, because it does get, you know, just like an interesting rep in American media. But anyways, if you plan on going to both Israel and Jordan by car, not by flying, from someone who has crossed the border multiple times myself, I do have some advice for you. The border can be an interesting situation depending on which border crossing you go to. I was interviewed by Israelis at the border for 5 hours one time. It was the border that's the one by Amman. That one is known to be like the strictest and also the longest, the most people, just like the busiest one. I would say avoid that one if you can. I would say the best one to go at, I know a bunch of people who have crossed at the Aqaba one, and almost everyone says it's like the easiest experience, like you're basically just walking through. Plan your trip, so if you're planning on crossing borders, go to the Aqaba location. It's typically much easier. If you're just visiting and you're an American tourist, like it'll be fine. I'm actually gonna take my blush as eyeshadow today because I kind of want to do like a pinky look. When I first got into college, I wanted to do something with the Middle East. I thought I was gonna either work for an NGO or I wanted to be an interpreter and be fluent in Arabic and Hebrew. That changed a lot throughout the years, but I think no matter what your religion is, what language you speak, it's just really important to learn about the other side, whatever you are not taught, and just see what else is out there and hear other people's opinions and live with people and be friends with people who have different beliefs than you. Just because you grew up one way or you are one way doesn't mean that everyone else is wrong. The food here has changed a lot. So when I studied here last time, actually let's talk about food and alcohol. So alcohol is prohibited in Islam. So a lot of Jordanians don't drink, a lot of Arabs don't drink, most I would say. But there are a lot more liquor stores here than there were when I lived here. I want to say there was like maybe 1 or 2 10 years ago, and then there were like a couple restaurants where you could buy alcohol. Like they don't care if foreigners drink or if Arabs drink. It's just kind of, again, it's like reflecting on your family, so most people don't, or do it in private if it is happening. Alcohol is taxed a ton, so it's super expensive here. But there were like restaurants and stuff that had alcohol, but now there's a lot more liquor stores, a lot more bars and like restaurants that have alcohol. Like it's just much more common now. The food in Jordan is great. I'll list a few recommendations for food here down below, but one of the other things with Amman that has changed a ton since last time I was here is there's a lot more modern things, just like shopping centers and food areas, and the food has changed a lot. Like there's this new area called Swifia Village, and it's like that concept that's in a lot of US cities where there's a ton of different food places, different types of food, and then you can get things from each place, and there's like big picnic tables and stuff. That would have never been here 10 years ago. There were a couple like nice malls like Abdun Mall, but now there's this whole shopping center called the Boulevard that's like packed at night, really pretty. My family was saying that it looks like something that would be in like the Gulf countries. And I think a lot of people are leaving Jordan to go work in Saudi Arabia because there's more job opportunities, the pay is better, and then coming back. So I think just like being exposed to that, they're probably like bringing a lot of those ideas back to Jordan. By the way, the pay here is very low. Zaid said that the average salary here is 10,000 JD per year. Very low. There's, you know, a lot of issues with that. But yeah, there are like very trendy restaurants and cafes here now, ton of different types of food. And cafes here, like I said, are pretty dead during the day, but then as soon as it's dark out is when everywhere gets busy. Malls here are packed at night. The weekend here is different, so the weekend starts Thursday night. Like their Thursday night is our Friday night, and then the work week starts on Sunday. It's been actually really nice working here because of the time difference. I have like a solid chunk of time where everyone in America is asleep, so I can like really focus and get stuff done, and then I can answer emails at like a certain time of day when people are online. So it's just like, it's been nice to have like no distractions when I'm working because no one is available. I took like 3 days fully off. Mostly the weekends I'm trying to like really unplug, because when it's the weekend here, Jordanians are in like full weekend mode. So I just want to like really be present. So I'm still like posting to Instagram and stuff, but I'm trying to like, you know, not think about work stuff as much on the weekend and not like open my laptop and just have an actual weekend, which has been really nice and something I pretty much never do. It's so crazy just like seeing what has changed in the last 10 years with like my family. Like now Zaid has 2 kids and his wife Naran I love, she's great. When I was here he's a couple years older than me, so I think he was like 22, 23 at the time, and he like went off, lived in Saudi Arabia, worked in Jeddah, and then came back, got married, has kids now, and it's just like cool seeing him as a dad. And then Sarah is super smart and she like graduated top of her class in pharmaceutical school. Health stuff here, so far I actually had a really good first couple weeks here. I'm using the AOA Metallic Buttercream in the shade Love Story. Pro tip, use your nail or finger and actually scoop some out, because it doesn't apply as well if you don't use your finger or if you don't like really work it in and like warm it up. So now I'm just gonna tap this on. Okay, let that pass. Welcome to Jordan. I'm gonna try their version of like Postmates and Uber Eats here. It's called Talabat. I'm gonna try to order some food on that after I film. By the way, back to the driving situation, there is Uber here and it's actually like pretty much the same price as taxis. So if you don't want to deal with the directions and trying to get around, trying to navigate, just drop the pin on Uber and that will be the easiest way to get around for sure. Is that talking about health stuff? Yeah. I'm so thankful that the first 2 weeks I was with them, like I was doing pretty good. I was out like the whole day with them. Last like few days haven't been the best. Last night I had a really bad one when I got here. I haven't been able to find a good person here to like work on my neck. The experience here with massages and chiropractic, yeah, has been interesting. By the way, maybe something that you wouldn't think about. If you're in a chiropractor's office, doctor's office, massage, women help the women and men help the men. So like you wouldn't get a massage here from a guy. There's women's gyms so that, you know, women can take off their hijab and wear workout clothes and crop tops and whatever they want without having to worry about it. I'm gonna go in with the pink highlight shade from this and just press it on top of that cream shade. The call to prayer is going on right now. If you didn't know, 5 times a day Muslims pray, and so the call to prayer is, what's the word, projected? Wow, why can't I think of the word? Comes out of the mosque. So pretty much anywhere you are, you can hear the call to prayer. So like when I first got here, oh, the jet lag, by the way, when I first got here, I think it's the worst I've ever had jet lag for like 4 days. I ended up having to take something to sleep because I just could not get on their schedule. I was staying up until like 5, 6 a.m. every single day. Anyways, I was up at 4 a.m. to hear the call to prayer, which when I heard the first one, when I got here, it just like, I don't know, it just felt so good to be back here, and like hearing that just brought back a lot of memories, and I don't know, it's like in the same room hearing that, which is cool. I'm just using the white shade in the highlight palette now. Okay, I forgot the AOA stuff. This stays on. I had to like scrub my hand with, what's that called? I can't, whatever, makeup remover. Pretty excited. I placed a food delivery order, so my shawarma will be here in 20 minutes. I'm now getting into hanger mode. I'm gonna use the same blush and just put a little bit on my lower lashes. Oh, I like this on the lower lashes. I mean lash line, wow. I feel like that really made my eyes pop. This is actually an eyeliner that I picked up here because my NYX one exploded all over my bag, my makeup bag. So this one is Isabelle DuPont. It's like $5. So far, seems pretty waterproof and super black. It stayed on well the other day. I don't know if I want to wing it. I'm gonna keep it at that for now and see. It's so interesting watching like how kids are raised here and the differences. Like for example, in the house right now, well, in like the connecting house, there's 2 kids where Zaid and his wife live. And then in the other house, there's Sarah, my mom, and then another brother. It's just interesting because like in the US or, you know, other countries that are more individualistic, if you are raising a kid, it's usually like you and your husband. And like, yeah, maybe your parents live close by and can help. Maybe a friend can like watch them every now and then. But here it's like there's just more help. You're raising them more as like a community than as just you guys. You have help if you need it. If you want to go take a shower, you can, because someone else who's around can watch the kid, and multiple people basically are helping to raise the child. And like, if you think about it, Sarah, who is their aunt, has seen the kids every single day pretty much since they were born. Like even your aunt has like that big of a role in helping to raise you or just spending time with you versus, you know, we see our aunts, or I see my aunts, I don't know, maybe like a few times a year, and as a kid probably around the same. Still don't know if I'm doing lashes, but I'm going with Lottie London's Super Fake Mascara. I got Sarah and Naran to get the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. We saw it at a mall here and I was like, I'm getting you guys this. You need it. So when you're seeing this in a couple days, I'm going to Italy. So I'm going to be in Italy actually for a month. If you saw my international travel prep video, I talked about where I'm going, how long I'm gonna be gone for, all that kind of stuff. And I also showed every step. So if you're debating going abroad, but it sounds like, you know, too much, you don't know where to start, maybe you've never done it before, or if it's just been a while with COVID, like that's how I felt. I was like, how the heck do I freaking do this? Forgot. Watch that video because I go through every step I did and like when to start preparing and what to do. I'm glad a lot of you guys liked watching that. Love this mascara. So I really wanted to do the house hunting video here, or apartment hunting video in Amman, just to show you like what the apartments can look like here. But it was starting to become quite the process trying to coordinate viewing apartments. I tried for the first couple weeks I was here, and the issue is that everything that's shown online doesn't actually exist anymore. Like it's already rented out, and so then it's just like this whole thing. Oh, dang it. Just got mascara on my face. I'm gonna let that dry and then scrape it off. But I asked on Instagram if you guys like really want to see that video. I would try and make it happen if it was something that you were just like dying to see and a lot of you were gonna watch. And it was like 60-40, and I felt like I am working here clearly, but I haven't been here in so long that I do want to like enjoy my time here. And that video especially, those apartment tour videos are surprisingly one of the most time-consuming videos, those and the top-rated makeup artist videos. But the apartment tours, between the coordination and then filming all of them and the editing on those takes at least 15 hours per video. So I don't know, I was on the fence about it to begin with, and then when you guys were like 60-40 on it, I decided not to do that in Amman. If I come back here, I will definitely do that. Like I'll coordinate in advance so that when I get here I can just film. So that won't be happening this time, but you will be getting an apartment tour in the vlog of this apartment that I'm staying in, this Airbnb. So this is definitely like very high-end Amman apartment, but that's why I wanted to show you like just how different, because you can get something like very cheap for American standards here. Like I'm talking, depending on how you want to live, like anywhere from $200 per month to $800 per month would be like a decent place, you know? Whereas if you want something with like a balcony and a view and like a really nice apartment, maybe like 2 bedrooms, whatever, that you can get for like $1,200 to like $2,000. So I kind of wanted to like show the range to show what you can get here and what the differences are. But like I said, I'll do that when I end up filming that video at some point. Would I move back here? You guys, trust me, I am tempted. Just like being back here, I don't know, I just really love the lifestyle here. I just remember like how much less stressed I was here. I just always loved like always having family around here and just quality time. It just feels like there's more solid quality time. I really miss that and I really enjoy it. So anyways, would I move back here? What am I doing on my eyes right now? Like if it wasn't for health stuff, I think yes. I don't know, but yes, I have thought about it. To be determined. Maybe I end up in Jordan after all of this. My parents would not be stoked about that. They love Jordan, by the way. My parents did come here and visit. My parents have met my family here. That was so special, getting my parents to meet my family here. And they loved being in Jordan. But if I moved here full time, I think that might be a different story for them. I'm going with lower lash mascara. Dating hair, someone asked about. That could honestly be its own video, because then we're getting into like Jordanian customs and oh yeah, shawarma has arrived, folks. I feel like I really can't give like a simple answer with this one, because it just gets into like a lot of customs and the norms here, and like if I would marry a Jordanian man, like all of this stuff, you know? So we'll save that for another day. But no, like dating apps aren't really a thing here. It's all like through your families. No, I have not been on any dates. And actually there was this one situation where I was supposed to go on a date with, it was a Jordanian guy, but who's living in Arizona for like a long time, went to school there, studied there, everything. So I was like, okay, he's currently living there. So we were supposed to meet up, and then Zayd asked me to ask his family last name, which is like a very normal thing to do, and he wouldn't give it to me. And that was like a big red flag. So I never ended up going on the date with him, but I was like, wow, good thing I asked that. He either wasn't telling his family he was doing that, or some weird situation, I don't know. I've been obsessed with the cheekbone Sustain Lips in the shade Sand. It's like a pinky, but still kind of neutral pink, not too intense. It is so pretty for just like an everyday pinkish tone. It also wears really well. It stays on well throughout the day. The weather here has been, yeah, pretty toasty in the 90s. And you know, you are wearing like pants and stuff, but you weirdly get used to it. Another reason why everyone goes out at night, because it's, you know, the desert, it does cool down at night. It's not pretty. You could just wear it as lipstick, honestly. You don't need to put anything over top. It's just like a very pretty tone, I think. And then this is Holy Grail status at this point. It's the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Daisy Pink. I'm like half out of this already. Okay, so here's what the makeup looks like up close. As always, I am in natural lighting in front of the window. I definitely didn't bring any lighting to Jordan. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed learning a little bit more about Jordan and the Middle East and what it's like here. Again, if you want to check out the Makeup Forever foundation, it's available at Sephora, online and in stores. So I'll have the link down below in the description box. Highly recommend. I am very excited to eat this shawarma. I'm gonna film the intro, then I'm about to devour some shawarma right now. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.